Direct misfire, talking many war games. Bensome and Spoon are taking aim. Comment, like, and subscribe today, keeping you notified and up to date.
Howdy peeps, welcome to another direct Misfire Missive. This is Missive number 5. Tonight with me, as always, I have my trusty co-host Bensome. How you going?
Very well, thank you.
Now we have a special guest, Drew McLean. How you going?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Tonight we're going to do a bit of a Mikecon wrap-up, and we've got a bit of a tournament plug that Drew will go over a bit later. The first thing we're going to do is get Drew to introduce himself and a bit about his wargaming history or background.
I started playing with Warhammer probably right at the end of, right at the start of 5th ed. But picked up competitive play in maybe 6th ed. I was playing an Orc and Goblin army most of the time, but that was, my first Orc and Goblin army, and it looked like a lot of teenagers' first armies. So,
Yeah.
But I've been playing all the way through since 6th, 7th, 8th, reasonably competitively. Towards the end, I dropped off a bit of 8th. Just started Kings of War. No, I've been playing Kings of War about a year now, but not very much. I've been using my Ogre Pirates, Kings of War, and I've been using, just last weekend, I used my Wood Elf Greenskin army, which probably is a bit confusing to listeners who can't see anything.
So how is that? How is it a Wood Elf Greenskin army?
It's basically orcs and goblins who got sick of being beaten by Wood Elves so often that they try to emulate their appearance and playstyle.
Right.
So it's a very bow-heavy Greenskin army. Although in Kings of War it only works as goblins.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all hooded, and all the big monsters make an effort to look like tree spirits.
Yeah.
With bits of bark and tree stuck to them.
Sounds nifty.
I was looking at your army, Drew, and you were showing me your mages, and they're all in the poses of the old Wood Elf, what do they call them? Spellsingers, is it? Is that what they used to call them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I made an effort to... So all the mages look like spellsingers, and the hero on foot looks like the Wood Elf. He's kind of standing on a bit of a twisted tree branch with this big sword sticking down. I really like that model, so I thought I'd pop that as well.
We should be able to. Yeah. No, we should be able to put some links in the show notes or something and show people what we're actually talking about. So, if you've got, have you got any photos from the event on the weekend, or?
I've got some on my blog.
Maybe we'll just link through to your blog. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Let's move on, I guess. We'll go into Mikecon. So all three of us attended Mikecon 3 on the weekend. Great day, 4-game event, 2,000 points. The scenarios were taken straight out of the book, and we're just going to go through each of the games and results and what we thought and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start, Benson?
Sure. Alright, so what did I do at Convict Ogres last time?
Yeah.
And just to kind of change it up, I went to Salamanders. Got a Lizardman army sitting there. Didn't feel like playing Ogres, so Lizards it was. I'll just go through my list. It's nothing exciting, but a couple of things that I wanted to try out. So first off was the Salamander Prime Horde with the Brew of Haste, because a massive horde that's speed 5 is just not getting anywhere, so speed 6 might help a little bit with that.
Yep.
Instead of your standard Gecko hunters at a nimble and have some range shooting, I went 2 units of Gecko warriors, a troop and regiment, and the troop had the scrying gem for extra drops on the opponent's side. They're not bad. A lot of attacks, low defense, and super cheap. They kind of did okay for the weekend. Then we got some tyrants in there, something that can hit a bit more than the warriors and the primes, and I've given them elite because, in my experience, these large infantry, they just whiff all their attacks all the time. So try and help them out about with the elite. And getting down to the pointy end of the stick, a regiment of lancers with the Brew of Strength. They've got natural crushing strength 1 and thunderous charge 1, and adding an extra crushing turns them into a little bit of a beefcake. They're kind of like the Rhinodon Riders, but cheaper. Instead of 275 points, only 200 points. They're a bit faster, not as defensive. And then my favourite unit of the army, the Ankylodon Battle Platform. Took 2 of them, because it's better than 1. And gave 1 firebolts instead of blowpipes, just to try it out. A couple of characters: Herald, Healing Charm, Mage Priest with Heal and Inspiring, because you need the Inspiring. And then a Clan Lord on Fire Drake with Ensorcelled Armor, no wings because of points. And last was the Gecko Skylord with Fire Oil. So it's a fairly bland looking list. Warriors, a couple of fast units, and some defense 6. And yeah. Anyway, I'll get into the games. Does anyone remember the first scenario?
Yeah, it was invade.
Invade. Okay. That's right. And I was up against James and his undead. Fairly straightforward game here. The big things that he had were a legion of zombies, a horde of skeletons, and a bunch of characters and some knights. Kind of outmaneuvered him there because all his dudes were slow.
Big blocks.
Yeah, and pathfinding salamander primes were able to run through a forest and eventually get a flank off on the legion and were able to take them out after a couple of rounds, which I was happy about. And a couple of sneaky flanks from my Ankylodons into the sides of other units. Fairly simple. Had a lot of my stuff on his side. He only had some mummies, which I couldn't budge with my tyrants. I just couldn't get rid of them. It might have been 3 or 4 turns that they were in combat, and each time the tyrants did 4 or 5 wounds, and then they would life leech and regen most of those back. And then, yeah, this isn't going anywhere. And then they died. But in the end, it was
like undead in any system.
Yeah. I don't mind it, but yeah, just when you're trying to punch something and you're just slapping instead, it gets a bit frustrating. Not that it mattered. It was something like 18 or 17 to 2 or 3 in my favour, so that was good.
Nice.
Who wants to go next? Drew.
Do you want to go, Drew, or do you...
Okay.
I volunteered
I'll
Drew.
slot in. So my goblin army ended up having to basically have no orcs in the list because I couldn't get a full-size list out of either of them, either orcs or goblins, and with allies, so had some more goblins, counts as. Started off with a regiment of Fleabag Sniffs, so they're the shooty fast cav goblin with the caterpillar potion. Figured they could pretty much get anywhere I want and shoot or maybe charge a few soft things.
Speed 9 and 10, aren't they?
6 regiments, speed 10, and
10,
nimble,
yeah.
so
Pretty good.
yeah, almost flying.
Yeah.
And with the caterpillar potion, they could, ignore the terrain, so that was handy. 6 regiments of spitters, so they were quite a heavy line I had there of shooting. 2 hordes of trolls, a big rock lubber, 2 war trombones, a giant, a slasher, a naked bigot, who's the sort of the little goblin hero, a mounted flaggot, who's the
standard bearer. Yep.
Had 3 whizzes. They all had windblast, lightning, and bane out, and 1 had the inspiring talisman, and 1 had the fireheart amulet to recast.
Nice.
So yeah, I was pretty happy with that. To rebase a few things quickly, but it worked out. I picked up AG in the first round. He grudge slapped me, and who am I to say no to a grudge? So I took him off on that. He had elves, and I really had no idea what elves were about. I hadn't played them before in Kings of War.
Point and click.
He had, from what I told you, he had a pretty standard army. So lots of dragons, lots of knights,
archers,
and archers, bolt
big archer
throwers,
hordes,
and even
bolt
throwers.
Yeah.
I think everyone knew what Andrew had by the end of the week, end of the day. Because it was the first time I'd used my army, I fluffed up deployment and put my spitters in 2 rows. I don't know why I did that. Seemed like a good idea, but it wasn't.
Right.
So he basically just avoided most of my shooting because it was getting in its own way, and managed to apply enough pressure to my flanks where I had all my heavy stuff, all my combat stuff on the flanks, that he was able to sort of take a unit out on each side on the charge. He didn't really care about the counter charge then, and just sort of got in behind me, and because it was invade, it worked pretty well for him. He ran out of time, and I had some time to sort of do a few cheeky runs forward, but it wasn't nearly enough to tip the balance. So I ended up with a 2-18 loss to Andrew Goodman.
That's a big loss.
And I'm sure most people know how he went for the day. So
yes, spoilers. He came first.
Yeah, I guess that leaves it to me. Okay. I bought my Abyssals again. This is the Abyssal list that I took to Convict, the 2,000 point list, which I'm becoming quite fond of now.
The exact same list?
The 2,000 point one, yeah. Yep, exact same list. So, Regiment of Flamebearers with the Jar of 4 Winds, so extra range. The lower Abyssals was a horde with Brew of Strength. Tortured Souls horde, they were naked. The Abyssal Horsemen regiment with Caterpillar Potion, 2 Hellhound troops, 2 Ifrits. 1 had Inspiring Talisman and 1 had the Wings. An Archfiend of the Abyss with Wings, Lightning Bolt 5 and the 6-up defense. And I had some allies. I think I might have been the only one with allies, possibly. I can't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I had a Fiend horde from the Night Stalker list,
Ah, right.
which they are freaking awesome, by the way. Round 1, I played Jeff and his dwarves. It was pretty much one really big flank versus the other. The left-hand side of my board was very heavy, and his right-hand side was very heavy. He'd only left a couple of, like a hand-hand unit and his badges, maybe a character or two in the middle. The rest was all on his right-hand side, and he'd split up his war machines. His war machines were going off tap. I think I lost my Tortured Souls before they'd even reached combat. So they were shot off the board by bombards. I reckon they hit 3 out of 4 times.
And they're pretty...
in 2 turns.
High decent piercing, so...
Yeah, they just disappeared. I'm like, oh, this isn't looking good straight off the bat. What happened then? Basically, I made him come at me, and then with a bit of shooting, and when he got close enough, I just breathed all over his big combat unit with the 2 Ifrits, and that disposed of them quite quickly. I did have a bit of a fight on my hands between the Lower Abyssal Horde and his Badger Cav, and he had that the Badger character, the special character guy, the Living Legend. Can't remember his name.
Yep, Sphery.
Yeah. And I think it might have been a king as well. So I was a bit lucky. The Lower Abyssals held out, and I could hold them off for a while, but I won the game on my left flank once I broke 2 of his, I don't know, what are the 6-up defense guys for the dwarves called?
The Iron Guard?
Iron Guard, yep. He had 2 units of those. He had the Crushing 2 Horde shield breakers, is that what they're called?
Yep.
Shield breakers, yeah. And another unit over on his right-hand side. Once I broke one of the 6-up defense units, I just pretty much rolled through the rest of them. And I come out, must have been 16-4 on that one.
Good start.
That was a good start. Move on to round 2, I guess.
Okay. What was round 2?
Loot.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so I faced the elves this time. Mr. Goodman and his silly elves. When I looked at his list, I thought this isn't going to go well for me at all. He had a lot of flying or knights and shooting, that's basically it. And all my dudes were fairly slow, apart from the Skylord, but you're not getting him into combat, so that's not going to go well. I picked up 2 early loot tokens. One of the battle platforms I used to grab it, because Defense 6, Fearless 17, Iron Resolve, I'm thinking it could hold out a bit longer than anything else. And the...
Any chance?
Yeah, it did okay for a couple of turns, and then it didn't. The Salamander Primes, the Horde, also they picked up another one. Because again, high nerve, lots of defense, hard to shift. But about 2/3 through the game, his Drakon, Dragon Rider, and Knights kind of smashed through the battle platforms, and my character picked up the loot token right at the end of the turn and stole the last token in the middle, which I just ran in, picked up with some skinks, and Knights took them off. So on the board it looked kind of even with the amount of units, but I couldn't shift that loot token. Tried all I could to kill some Knights or make them run. Very low chance of that happening. We're just trying to get him to drop the token, but yeah, no go. Elves get it again.
Do you remember what the scoreline was?
It was not good. I think I only got 2 points out of that one, maybe 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
True.
So I was up against Michael Bertrand, and I don't know Michael around. This is the first time I met him. He was using Abyssals as well. And his army had 2 regiments of Flamebearers, 2 troops of Flamebearers, 2 regiments of Succubi, a horde of Lesser Abyssals, 2 Afrits, and an Abyssal Champion. Is that what they're called? The little heroes?
The little heroes, yeah.
And then he had pretty much an item on every unit, but I can't remember what they all were. So they're all doing something a little bit different. So I kind of just put my fire line, all the spitters and mages and trombones kind of in the middle, and then there was a big rock splitting my deployment zone, kind of 1/3 to 2. So the spitters were in the middle, and then I had a block of trolls, a monster on each flank, supported by a character, and I put the flea bags out on the right as well. So the group on the right pretty much just did their own thing for the game. They kind of got isolated until the very last turn. They managed to pick up their loot counter over there, but lost the slasher so the slasher moved into the forest, because naturally the loot counters were in the forest. Slasher moved into the forest to get into position to pick it up. Succubi charged me in the forest and took out the slasher on one turn, charging into a forest. Thought, that doesn't sound right, but I countercharged with the trolls and took them back out, and then took the loot counter and cleaned up on that side, so that was alright. There's a bit more of a standoff on the left flank, but the giant and trolls again fighting against another unit of succubi and the horde of lesser abyssals. They kind of just destroyed each other there, and I was just left with a whole bunch of shooting in the middle and left flank. He had the 2 loot counters, but I managed to shoot him, both of his units carrying them, so he dropped them. I think I ended the game with just 1 loot counter, and the other 2 had just been dropped. So, that did it for me. But if we hadn't got that last turn, perhaps he would have run away with them, and I wouldn't have turned it round. So yeah.
Take what you get.
Yeah, I'll take it. That was a 17-3 win.
Good job.
Happy with that.
Cool.
And Spoon?
My round 2, I played Matt Selleck, and he borrowed Mike's elves, and I haven't played against the elves yet, so that was interesting. And Matt he'd only played round 1 with the elves, so a bit new to the whole army thing. In his list, he had must be a regiment of scouts, a horde of Sea Guard. He had a mage, I think it had Bane Chant and Heal on it, an army standard bearer. I'm not sure if that had any items on it or not. He had a Treeman with regen. Geez, that thing's hard to shift.
Treeman.
Horde of Forest Chamblers, a regiment of the Hunters of the Wild. I think the Hunters of the Wild had +1 crushing strength on them.
Okay, yeah.
And a horde of Drakon Riders. I'm not sure if they had any items on them or not. Can't remember.
Right.
This one was, he had all these trees in the middle, and his Drakon Riders on the far left, which were his little flanking force. And on his right side, he had the horde of Sea Guard and the scouts with his mage and his army standard bearer. I was very comfortable with his right-hand side of the board, as I had Tortured Souls and my Night Stalker Fiends and a unit of Hounds over there. The Fiends are -1 to hit with shooting because of the stealthy rule, so it was wasting a lot of firepower getting at them. The Fiends ended up taking out his big Sea Guard unit eventually. However, the stupid little scouts, I think, shot him off the board after another couple of turns.
Right. Couldn't catch him?
I couldn't turn enough. I turned quickly enough. I don't think I did enough damage in the first round of combat to get rid of him. I did damage so that the big horde couldn't shoot, but I couldn't get the scout unit.
Right.
Oh, he had a unit of light cav as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what slowed me down. I had to kill the light cav with the Night Stalker unit before I could get to the big horde. So it cost me 2 turns to get to them.
Okay, yeah.
So that was the death of them. But this one come down to the last turn pretty much. I had a unit of Flame Bearers that took the token on his right-hand side of the board, and his Treeman had the token in the middle. The other one got dropped by his Drakons. I think my Hounds attacked them, and then I burnt them to death with E-Freeze. They are very, very nice. I love them. But there was an epic fight between my Archfiend and the Treeman, and it was looking good on my side until one round when he had 9 wounds on his Treeman, and then he regens 7 out of 9.
Wow, that's good going. Treeman.
And I'm like, oh no. And I had to, I think it went to turn 7 from memory. I had to end up charging his Treeman with my Tortured Souls that had lapped around a bit to stop him from charging my Flame Bearers in the flank or the arse, so they didn't die. But yeah, it ended up being a draw. Very good game.
Selleck's been getting a few draws. That seems to be his thing. Not winning, not losing.
Just in between.
Yeah. All right. Round 3.
Round 3.
Pillage, if I recall.
Yes.
I was playing Stacks in his dwarves. Different list to what he was running.
What's the jetpack I've been hearing about?
That was the special character Valandor. I think Valandor. The Spirit of Valandor.
Yeah.
375 point character from Dungeon Saga. Flying, speed 10, melee 3, defense 5, 6 attacks, fearless 17. But I think where his points come in is that he's got some weird healing thing, healing aura. So either heal 6 or anyone within 6 has heal 3. So he's got
cool.
also very inspiring and rallying 1 as well, but only 6 attacks. Seems a bit weird. So
Still, you just plonk him in the middle of the arm, I guess.
yeah. We had 2 flanks. This game was made of 2 flanks. Only 5 pillage tokens, so not a lot to fight over. He had all his fast dudes, that character, special character, Brock Riders, Valandor and a couple of regiments of dwarves. I think it was Ironclad and Shield Breakers. And I thought, when I was deploying, I put a couple of Enchilodons and then stupidly put down the Skylord, thinking he could inspire, but he can't. He can only inspire geckos. So that was a fail there. Yeah. Regiment of geckos were there too, just because. And on the other flank, we had the Salamander Primes, the big character, the Knights, my Mage and Tyrants sitting out there, versus his Earth Elementals, Greater Earth Elemental. He's got Sharpshooters in this one, and Organ Gun, and Stone Priest. He also had the Steel Behemoth kind of plundering about. Didn't do a whole lot till right to the end because it's so slow. But essentially, he wiped my flank of Enchilodons. They kind of put up a fight and did some damage, but didn't really take anything off. And I wiped his with good flank into his Greater Earth Elemental, and Tyrants actually fought and held their own against the Earth Elementals. Stupid thing, bloody horde of Salamander Primes hitting a Stone Priest. Nah, 5 wounds, 4 wounds, just bounces. Alright, next turn. Alright, sure, okay. So they're kind of stuck in the center because he's stupid Stone Priest and didn't really do anything. Which is a pain in the neck. Again, my character on Fire Drake doesn't do much. It's speed 7, but not flying and not nimble, so you can't really maneuver very well. Breath 16's fine, but you gotta bloody get in range. And get in range of things that aren't fighting. So they just kind of floundered about. Bit some stuff right at the end. But the point being, he took 2 tokens on that broken flank of mine. I took 2 on his, and the one in the center, the stupid Steel Behemoth, sat there. Nah, 3 tokens to 2. Lost that one as well. Yeah. But it was really close, and 15-5. Alright, Drew, take it away.
I played Matt Selleck in round 3 as well. Oh, sorry, same as you last round. It's weird. I've been going to tournaments that Matt's been going to for about 10 years now. I haven't played him until Convict. This is my second game against him. But yeah, same elf list you're describing. Did you, when he was setting up, did he have a dragon kind of in amongst his stuff for you, Ben?
No.
I think he had a dragon model there. I didn't look at his list closely enough because I had it just in my mind that he had a dragon because AG had one. I'm like, no, another dragon coming out. And when I got to the end of deployment, it wasn't out there. It was complete psych out. I'm like, where's this dragon? So I was deploying with a dragon in mind. But anyway, that's my fault. For not
Sleight of hand.
So it's a good ploy to put something you're not using. It's something big and scary.
Right.
Amongst your army.
So next time I'm going to take 2 armies and just have one sitting on the side and you're not sure which one I'm going to use. I'll just start putting down the other one.
But you got to
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we're playing loot. All the counters seem to be on the left flank, and there was virtually no cover on the table except one forest on the far right and a obstacle also on the far right. So
I found
few buildings.
A lot of the tables were. I felt that a lot of the tables were fairly sparse of terrain. Did anyone else feel the same?
Because the hills blended in. They didn't really stand out as terrain items, and they're always in the corner. So. Like, you didn't really get much in the way of hills in the middle of the table.
That's the problem with those Realm of Battle boards, because the hills pretty much have to be on the sides or on the ends, otherwise they're all in the middle and you can't play a game at all.
One giant hill.
Yeah. It's insane. Anyway.
They do look nice, but that's about it. But yeah, so the loot counters are kind of in amongst 2 buildings, but so, the buildings obviously provide a bit of cover, but not cover you can get into, so nothing he could hide behind whilst moving towards the objectives. So I set my fire line up opposite the objectives on my left flank. So just a line of goblins with the mages and the trombones behind them and the stone thrower behind them. And then all my heavy stuff was on the right flank. I managed to take out his. My shooting was on fire. He vanguarded all of his trees forward, but that was kind of a bit of it was double-edged sword, or really shot himself in the foot there accidentally, because he just sort of put one unit at a time into range of my gun line. And I took it out. So,
take that one.
First turn took out the hunters. Second turn took out the treekin. Sorry, the shamblers.
Yep.
Fourth turn took out the Draken Riders. The Draken Rider did manage to take out a unit of spitters, but I was quite happy to trade that off.
Yep.
My slasher with its little mini catapult or whatever on top managed to take out a unit of the fast cav elves. So that was kind of cool. But it was just sort of, he ran stuff at my goblins, I shot them, and then my heavy stuff kind of just closed the book and rolled up the flank. He took a few of my things out, but he didn't have enough left to contest the objectives, and I still had a bunch of goblin regiments to throw at them. So
Right.
yeah,
Easy
ended
done.
up with a 17-3 win there as well.
Another
Yeah.
good job.
Would have been interesting to see what happened if he hadn't Vanguard and then just came forward a bit more coherently. But I guess when you've got units with Vanguard, you use it, don't you? And I don't think it worked out in this case.
Good job. What have you got for a spoon?
What are we up to? Round 3. I played Fishbat, Tim,
Oh, yes.
and he played his Varangur, and from memory, his army was, the Fallen. Are they monstrous infantry? I think it's a horde of
but
the
they're
Fallen.
height 1, I believe.
1, yeah. Whatever the biggest size of the Fallen are, I'm assuming it's a horde.
Yes.
Horde of, what are the heavy cavalry?
Sons of Gorgon?
No, not them, the other ones, the ones that are Diafang. Diafang. Yeah, a horde of Diafang riders. He had a Diafang character.
Mm-hmm.
He had a troop of, I don't know what their foot troops are called, Night Raiders or something. I can't
There's
remember.
a couple of different ones. Night Raiders is one of them. Yep.
They didn't do a whole heap. He had Herja, the character.
Yep.
Is that what her name is?
Yep.
He had a regiment of knights. The mounted Sons of Gorgon, I should call them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think he had a foot troop. He had a big giant monster. I can't remember what that was called. He had a BSB. I think that might have been a special character as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember his name. And a Magus Conclave, I think.
Okay.
Skald, maybe?
Skald.
I think that might be.
Skald is just a standard hero.
Okay, there you go. I don't know. I think that was it in his army. This was a very intense game and come down to the very last dice roll. This game swung so many times it wasn't funny.
Sounded funny.
The start of the game still wasn't very funny to me. He sort of out-deployed me, and I had to correct my silly errors. And in doing so, I had to expose a flank of my Night Stalker unit to either A, a horde of Diafang riders, or B, his Diafang hero.
Right.
Each get triple attacks in the side of that unit. I exposed my flank because the Fallen had got around the side, and instead of charging him with my Hellhounds, the Fallen, I went past him so I could lap around, which ended up paying dividends. I'll get to that in a bit. But I exposed my flank to the hero and charged my Archfiend into the Diafang unit because I thought I could hold there for a couple of turns while the other stuff was going on.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of turns later, the Night Stalker Fiend died, but I got his Fallen with Hounds in the rear, and I got Horsemen in the front, I think it was, from memory. He charged me, and then I charged him back because he failed to rout them. What it come down to, basically, what was this one? There was Pillage, wasn't it?
Yep.
No one had... A lot of the units had died, like the Knights had taken out my Lower Abyssals. The Tortured Souls eventually got taken off. I took his giant monster thing out without any worries, but no one had any markers at the end of turn 5, I think. So it was the big chase in turn 6. There wasn't much left on the board. It was hack and slash. There was literally nothing left on the board. He had his Diafang character and a unit of knights that could score left on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I had my Archfiend, I think it might not have been my Archfiend. I had a unit of hounds, and I can't remember what other unit I had. Might have been Flame Bearers.
Mm.
And I took out his knights with Flame Bearers, and we went to turn 6, and at the end of turn 6, I had one marker, he had none. We rolled for turn 7, and of course this is the turn that flipped it the other way around. So the end of turn 7, he had his Diafang character on a marker, and his Herja charged my hounds in the arse and killed them. So I tried to flame the Diafang character off the board. I did some damage to course and nerve check, and of course I said not double 1 to the dice, and would you believe it?
And you jinxed it. Because that's what you do.
Yep, I rolled a double 1. Yep. So I lost that one, and I think it was a 16-4, I think. It's either that or a 17-3. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah. So, but that was a good game. Very intense.
Yeah, it sounded it. I was caught the end of that game, at the very end of that game. Did Herja do anything with their special, bring back a unit?
Oh, he made me roll the dice.
Uh-huh.
Because I killed... I think it was it must have been turn 7, he had that small little troop that were going after a marker,
mm-hmm.
and I burnt them. I don't know which one one of the units shot. Must have been Efraid or something. And he said, "Hey, you got to roll dice, and on a 4+ they come back to life." But they didn't come back to life, which was good. I think it was my other Efraid that took them off. I can't remember exactly. Right. I remember the Knights coming off, but very good game. Different army too.
Yes, we don't play much Varangar at the moment, but I'm sure that'll change as it gets more popular and people get their armies together.
I think a lot of people would have armies around.
Yeah, I think it's because they've got to get... they need to change it over to Kings of War, because it's not like you can do a straight Warriors of Chaos conversion.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I've got an old army I'm waiting to convert, but
yeah, same. Mine is still in cases, and I've got to kind of figure out what I'm going to be doing with them. All right, let's move on to round 4. To the end. Round 4. Super tired. It was 5 o'clock before the 4th game started, if I recall, and I just wanted it to end. And looky here, we're versing Spoon.
The direct Misfire.
Yeah.
Show. I don't know what you call it.
I don't know. It was stupid, that's what it was.
It was awesome.
So, for those who don't know, Spoon has a history of not beating me, ever. Getting close sometimes with a few draws. But I wasn't having a good day, I was getting real tired, and Spoon seemed to be quite confident, and yeah, he took it away. It was another sparse table, I felt, so you can't really hide or maneuver about anything apart from just a building that was just in my deployment. But your Tortured Souls and Night Stalkers, they just kind of rolled over my Ankylodon and character, all my Defense 6 stuff, which I thought would hold.
Not to die.
Yeah, or even do some damage back, but no, just whiffing everything, and alright. I did manage to get some recompense with my little mage breathing some fire on some hounds and taking them off. That was fun.
You only did a couple of wounds, and then you rolled high for the nerf.
Yeah. 125 points, thanks. Your big lady charged into my tyrants and took them off after a couple of rounds. I thought they would last longer than that or do more damage than what they did. That didn't happen. And my horde really didn't do anything. They just trundled along again and then just got countercharged by all your stuff at the end.
Yeah, 3 units.
Yeah. So what did I end up taking? Both your hounds, your flame bearers, got my skinks into them, and then the knights finished them off. But I think that's just about it.
Yeah, I don't think you got much more than that. You nearly took off my horsemen, I think, in the last turn.
Yeah, but
I think you charged them with one of your monsters and skinks, I think it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very good for me. And this was the kill
awesome
scenario,
for me.
So
Good to mix things up a bit.
yeah,
it is. Just so the world
well
knows,
done.
Ben. Do you wanna give them the score?
What? I can't remember the score. It was something pretty poor, wasn't it? Like 18-2.
There it is. I have beaten Bensome.
Yeah.
You need some music. Add some music there.
Sure, I'll find something suitably epic or crap. But you better save it because it's the only time it's going to happen.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, them's 5
Let's see.
minutes. Alright.
Move on to your last round, Drew.
I too played someone I play regularly, so Greg's another member of Hampton. So probably the person I've played most since I've started playing Kings of War, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He brought his League of Rordia, and he's been collecting Empire for years, and he's got a massive army, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of ogres and a lot of wolves in it.
A lot of conversion.
I think he's got a spin-off. Yeah, he spun an ogre army off, so he's got an Empire-themed or a League of Rordia-themed ogre army, which he took to Convict, and they look really cool. But so yeah, he just sort of League of Rordia like King of Men, but with more toys. I found, so they're kind of cool.
Did he take any halflings?
He had no halflings, no.
Oh, okay.
He's got no models for him, but I think he's got plans to develop that part of the army.
The League of Rordia has a huge list.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it?
Right, just goes on and on. Yeah, well, he still had plenty of variety without any halflings. He had some mounted character, but it was like it was on a monstrous mount. I can't remember what it was called though. I didn't take any names of it.
It's like a duke on a winged Arrowles or ancient Arrowles.
It wasn't winged, it was on foot. I couldn't tell what it was quite because it was the same as his honor guard, so
okay,
just a big wall. He had a mage on foot who was basically there to cast Pain Talent.
Yep.
He had the steam tank. He had 2 hordes of honor guard, which was big wolf-mounted knights. They're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
A horde of dogs of war, I think they're called, like the heavy pike unit.
Yep.
Another regiment, a different regiment of heavy infantry. Again, I didn't catch the name. I wasn't paying much attention to this time of the day. I'm sorry.
It's getting late.
Yeah, and a war altar again.
Okay.
I don't know what the new name for it is. It's kind of like a wagon with a caster on top. It shot a lot of lightning at me, and it.
Battle
and-
Shrine, is that right? Lightning Bolt
Yeah,
5
Battle
is what it's
Shrine,
got.
that's it,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Mhm.
And he had some ogre allies. He had a horde of shooters and a horde of boomers.
Because that's what you take.
Yeah, that worked all right. But so I tried a similar setup to Matt. I had all the shooty stuff on the left, with a unit of ogres and the giant over there to help them, and then a bunch of hitty stuff on the right. But he sort of just came at me. It was a pretty channeled board, and he just came at me, got in my face quickly, and started sort of hacking up a few goblin units, which I didn't care too much about. My trolls ran in and hit one of his honor guard units, or honor guard hordes with, just a lucky break. Basically, I fluffed my attacks. I did maybe 2 or 3 wounds on the unit, not enough to actually pose a threat, except that I rolled a 6.
Hey.
And so, so they wavered, but they had, I think, the steam tank, the shrine, and the mounted character were behind them. So it basically just clogged up his entire assault. The other honor guard got into a forest, and I parked my giant just outside the forest.
Yep.
I didn't charge it though, because I thought I'll just let it keep charging me, because whilst he's in the forest, he's hindered. If I charge him, then he's going to charge him. He'll get his thunderous back. So I just sat my giant in front of them, sort of laughing, shooting him with trombones, and eventually took them out like that. But with that lucky waver, it just clogged the entire flank up, and basically both of our armies just got locked. But because I had more sort of mobile, shooty, annoying stuff, I managed to pull ahead, and I got the 17-3 win out of that.
Hey, another
Greg,
good win.
Nice.
Another one, yeah. He's like arguably a better player than me. He was in a better position than me. He had a better army than me, but he just bluffed his rolling.
But he checked.
That's just Greg. That's how he plays.
Yeah.
He sounds
he
like
needs better
me.
dice all the time.
Yeah, he sounds like me.
So yeah, that was the end. I had 3 wins after that, which I was not expecting to take away. I didn't think my army was much chopped, but
Did very well for yourself.
yeah.
And Spoon, how many wins was that for you too?
I got 2 wins, a draw, and a loss.
And just 1 win for me at the very start. What did you end up with in terms of placement, Drew?
I came a surprising 3rd.
Da-da-da-da.
AJ
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And on top of that, I took home the painting prize for best army.
Very nice.
When's the next army coming, and when's the next painting award, Drew?
I'm actually working on some stuff for Mike, because he bought my ogres that you would have seen at Convict.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we need some more
And
stuff
most of my
to
hobby tile.
fill it out.
Well, I think this one of the things with converting an army like that is that it is very difficult for someone to buy it and to
Yes. Yeah.
expand it.
Yeah.
So he bought it off me, and we kind of agreed that if he did that, I'd make some more stuff for him. So I'm probably adding another 50% to what's there again, and then hopefully I can start some work on my own stuff. I've got some Abyssal Dwarves half done. Yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, after Mikecon 3, it's kind of spurred me to get my Abyssal Dwarfs done. So CanCon is my aim to have them all completed by.
That's looking very exciting at CanCon.
Yeah, it's
should be good.
now Clash of Kings Australia, so they're trying to hype that up. I'm sure we'll cover that closer towards the date. Speaking of tournaments, I hear there's one coming up next month.
So I guess the next one in Melbourne that I'm aware of is Hampton's, Axemaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Just so happens. That's 2,000 points, which everything seems to be these days.
Yep.
4 rounds. It should start a little bit earlier than Mikecon did, so it'll probably start at 8 o'clock and hopefully finish by 5.
Yep.
A little bit more time. In that, still 50 minutes per player, but I'm allowing 10 minutes of sort of set up and establishment time. Yeah, which hopefully will ease the pressure a little bit. It's on the 25th of September, which is a Sunday. It costs
Okay.
$30 per Sunday. Yep.
How much was that?
And $30.
$30. Okay.
Yep. And the details can be found on either Wargamer AU under Kings of War events, or if you just search Axemaster Kings of War 2016 on Facebook, there's a page going there.
Okay.
And you can pay me on PayPal.
We'll put the links in the show notes too, Drew, so if anyone's missed it, they'll be in the show notes for anyone to have a look at.
Right.
So what are the scenarios?
It should be a lot of fun. I'm going to roll them up on the day, and I'll I'll sort of just do a public roll at the start of each round. I will re-roll, or I'll veto any scenarios that have already been played.
Okay, yep.
You know,
Want to play something different?
That'd be boring otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it'll just be the scenarios out of the book. Scoring will be the same as Mikecon, so 15 for a win, 5 for a loss, 10 for a draw, with modifiers based on how much stuff you kill. And
Are you using the Clash of Kings rule pack, or are you going straight out of the book?
no, I'll use the Clash of Kings modifiers, so flyers, pharaohs, and
Whatever else it is.
allies.
the
with
allies
items.
rules. Yeah, that's it.
Mm.
Cool.
But they seem to be pretty bog standard these days.
Yeah.
With modification.
Yeah, I think every tournament will be doing that from going forward, just because it makes sense. I think.
It seems to balance the game.
Yeah.
I like it. So yeah.
Good.
But,
So get onto it.
If you're free on the 25th of September, make sure you sign
I'd
up.
love to see you there.
Is there a cut-off date for entry?
No, not really. I'm happy to take entrance whenever. Probably earlier would be better, just to give me a bit more idea and hopefully firm up that venue booking. So
And
it's down at Hampton.
down at Hampton, that's South Melbourne.
Yeah. So it's down at Hampton, the Hampton Games Club there. It's a really good location. It's surrounded by there's a Safeway kind of 20 metres out the door.
Public transport's nearby as well.
There. Train station is 100 metres away. Heaps of parking. So pretty much everything you need there.
And now that Australia has a ranking system, will the results be going towards that as well?
Yes, I will submit results there. And I guess, as with the rankings, if you don't want to be on that, you can just opt out. But I can't see why you wouldn't want to.
Some people.
But it's your call.
Yeah, that's right.
No, whatever people want.
Yep.
That's fine. If you're not in the rankings, then it just makes me higher. So.
That's right. Yeah, I've got to do something about that.
But I'm looking for probably 20, if not a few more people. I'll probably support quite a few more, but it depends how much interest there is.
Yep.
I'm hoping some of the Hampton guys that haven't been at so much events yet can come along. That should be good.
We have noticed the community slowly growing. I think the first Mikecon didn't have that many people at all, did it?
No, it's
Ben?
10 to 12, something like that.
Yeah, so they have slowly grown. Convict was only 14 or something. Mikecon got up to 16. It had 20 or something before dropouts.
Yep.
So I think we'll see a bit more growth in the near future.
Yep.
Good. All right. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Just saying, I've got a few more ideas for other events down the line, but I don't know. I'll see how this one goes before I plan another one. But,
that sounds like a good idea.
I do have intent to run a few more, maybe with a few twists thrown in there.
Good-o.
Yeah, cool. Thanks very much for your time, Drew. We'll hope to get you back on again soon.
Yeah, cool. Well, I really plan to be at Canberra when that comes out. So if you guys get there, then maybe we can do a session one night down there.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Nice. Cool.
Up there. Oh, either way.
That's right.
I think that's it.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Well, thanks for the invite, guys.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, direct misfire blowing up the game. Talking many war games is our aim. From rule books to advice, we cover it all. With the best tactics, we never fall. Bensome and Spoon are your host every vid. Misfiring, but aiming up ahead. Comment, like, and subscribe today, keeping you notified and up to date. Come check us out at facebook.com/directmisfire or shoot us over an email at directmisfire@gmail.com.